You are listening to the Healthy Christian Women Podcast, brought to you by Fit Plus Faith, the podcast for Christian women to grow healthier in their mind, body, and spirit. Jumpstart your health with your complimentary mind, body, and spirit detox checklist at healthychristianwomen.com/detox. That's healthychristianwomen.com/detox. Here's your host, Dr. Melody Stevens.
Dr. Melody here with Fit Plus Faith, and welcome to our new weekly series called Natural and Non-Toxic Living. I am so excited about this. This is like the culmination of a journey that I've been on for a really long time now, for years now. And, as I've been learning and growing, I desire to share that with others. I desire to share whatever knowledge that I have with others to help them step into better health. That's really what it all comes down to, is better health. So I've been thinking for a little while about wanting to start a series about natural living. What does that look like to really get back to the basics of nature and just seeing the contrast of our common day culture versus what natural really is, what natural health and natural living really is. And so I've been having this idea for a while, thinking, how can I get the word out? How can I just be sharing intentionally about all the things that I'm learning and about just my passion for returning to nature, returning to natural, the way that God designed it to be, right? God has given us everything we need already in nature that pairs perfectly with the human body. He created the human body, He created everything in nature, and He designed them to go together and for nature to serve our body and our health in so many ways, like so well, perfectly. And so I've been wanting to get this out, but it's like, what do I do and what does that look like? And so now here we are. Sometimes I feel like I hear from God like early in the morning when I'm like half awake, but He's showing me things and telling me things, and I've got to have my journal handy. And so the other day I took notes in that half awake, half asleep time, and it was natural and non-toxic living. And I was like, that's it. That's what He wants me to do. What does it mean to you? Like, what do you think of? What does this connotation mean to you when you start thinking of natural and non-toxic living? Like, what even comes to mind? I would love to know. So start typing that down below and let's hear it. And so I wanted to just share a little bit about my journey getting to this place and then what this is going to be. What was your first job that you ever wanted to do? Like when you were a little kid, what was like the first thing that you used to be obsessed and like, I'm going to be that, I'm going to be an astronaut or I'm going to be a firefighter or whatever that was. For me, I wanted to be a teacher. I loved my first grade teacher, Mrs. Alexander. I loved her, and she was the one that first inspired me to think with the idea of, I can be a teacher one day. And I wanted to be a teacher. That was my first thing that I thought I was going to be when I grew up. Well, as life went on, it was actually in maybe sophomore year of high school, I took an anatomy class and we were dissecting cats. Oh my gosh, and I have cats and I love cats, so that was kind of weird, but I was fascinated at the same time. And it was in that anatomy class that God showed me and revealed to me, I am going to be a physical therapist. So the teacher thing had to get put aside. I'm going to be a physical therapist. I'm going to help people with their body. It's going to be a really wonderful career. And I just knew right then at 16, I knew what I was going to be. And so I followed that career all the way to the end. And then I graduated in 2008. It must have been, 8, 9, 10 years later. I was 26 and I had that idea at 16. So 10 years later, I graduate with my doctorate of physical therapy and off I go, right? But my first job ever wanted to be a teacher. What I love though about what God did in leading me to physical therapy and in leading me here to Fit Plus Faith is that He has allowed me to have that teaching component that was always my original love, and now it's just with this huge bank of knowledge about our body and about our health. And so God is amazing. He brings it all together. Corinne says she remembers those days. Corinne is a wonderful longtime family friend and has literally been with me, watching me grow up and being a beautiful support system and a behind the scenes prayer warrior. Having those people in your life is priceless, guys. And so Corinne, thank you so much. I love you so much. And so I love to hear what you guys wanted to be: a nurse, writer, famous singer. I'm loving that. Yes. And what did you guys say about what you wanted for what you think natural living is? God made, not man made. I love that, Cynthia. Corinne is in a study about toxic relationships. I love that you're bringing that up because we're going to talk about toxic burden in just a minute. And toxic burden is more than just literal toxins in your life, like toxins that come in through chemicals and through all the things we interact with. Toxic burden is also emotional. It's also mental. So I love that you're in a study about that right now. Elizabeth says using natural remedies first rather than immediately turning to pharmaceuticals. Yep. Awesome. Great. So here I am now. God has brought me all this knowledge of health, and then he's brought me the ability to teach. And so that's where natural and non-toxic living, this new series, is coming from. So man, my health journey in this way, like my personal health journey, right? Like I've been on this journey of helping people in physical therapy for all these years. But my personal journey started, I would say 7, I dare even say 8 years ago, but to me that's like unfathomable, but I really think that probably is true. 7 to 8 years ago now, and I can't believe it's been that much time. But I ended up having this desire that I was just unhappy with what I saw in the mirror. I didn't like my pictures anymore. I was embarrassed when I saw what I looked like in pictures. I didn't like how my clothes felt. Like I was just in this unhappy place in my body. I had let weight come on. I had stopped, I didn't stop caring, but I had gotten too lax in certain ways, and my body was experiencing all the repercussions of that, right? So I was in this place where I was like, I just want to look better in the mirror. It was from a very selfish place, and that's okay. Like that's where a lot of people start. They want to change their health because they don't like what they see in the mirror. So it starts as being like an external thing. I just didn't like what I saw in the mirror. I didn't like how I felt. I just wanted my old body back, right? Like I wanted my high school body back, but without having to do all the work that I was doing back then. When I think about it, I was working out 2 times a day, through dancing and through color guard and through all these things. Anyway, as adults, we want things differently, right? And we want them faster and more immediate and all that. So I just wasn't happy with what I saw in the mirror. And so I got a health coach, and I started, ultimately really restricting my calories. I got the physical changes that I wanted, but many of you know this story. I still never felt satisfied, and I look at pictures now in the mirror of what I had achieved on the back end of that. And I look at it now and I'm like, holy cow, girl, like you were on the opposite side now. I still thought I was too big and wasn't happy with what I saw. And I look at the pictures now and I'm like, oh my gosh, like you were too skinny, but I didn't see it in the moment. My mind was warped. I had a misperception, right? Whatever that word is, misconception of what I truly was like. And so I was never happy. I was never satisfied. I was never fulfilled. However, through that journey, I began to learn. I began to get educated. I began to just soak in knowledge about understanding what does that really look like, understanding foods and understanding food groups. And just, so I was learning this whole time, even though externally it may have looked like I was skinny, internally I still wasn't satisfied. And that's a whole different thing. And God has freed me from that. And he did a work in my heart and in my life through that journey to where now I don't have that bondage anymore, and that's a whole separate story, but it's amazing. But I was learning all these things, and then I got certified. I became a health coach in addition to everything else, because I wanted to help people understand that your body is more than just the physical muscles and bones. Your body is affected by what you eat. It's affected by the nutrition you take in or the nutrition you abstain from. And so it kind of started this process and this journey. And then God brought me to this place where I started Fit Plus Faith back in 2015. Can't believe it. And he brought me to this place of not only healthy mind, body, and spirit needing to come together, but that he has created everything we need to fully be healthy and whole. And through him, we have healing, we have deliverance. So through him, we have the best, most thriving health we can, because he deals with our heart issues. He deals with our mental issues. He leads us and guides us. He gives us the Holy Spirit to comfort us, to lead us into truth. He has provided us everything we need to live the best life. And in his creation, in nature, he's provided the perfect complement for our physical body to give it everything that it needs. But we, as humans, have corrupted that. We've corrupted that, and we've created toxic burden. Did you know that there are 78,000 new chemicals that were never in existence before since 1900? Since 1900, there is 78,000 new man-made chemicals that are now a part of our daily life. We are just getting influence from toxic chemicals everywhere we turn, from the smells that we breathe in, from the exhaust, right? From the freeway. We are getting toxic chemicals when we have a new car and it has all that smell that we love, but that's actually a petroleum-based toxin being released by all the gases and the plastics that are in the car. But we like that smell, right? We pump our gas and we like that smell of gasoline when that's actually a toxin that we're breathing in. And so we're surrounded by toxic chemicals. We have Lysol wipes or whatever. We have these wipes that clean the counter, but yet they say, be careful not to touch it or touch your mouth or get it into your body in any way because it's toxins that are killing all these bacteria on the countertops. We have toxins everywhere we turn. And is it any wonder why our body is struggling to keep up? Why our body is struggling to maintain homeostasis and to maintain good, thriving health? Is it any wonder that our immune systems are depressed and we get sick easier? Is it any wonder why we have had a massive boom in cancer that's unexplained? But the explanation is the thousands and thousands and thousands of toxins that you've been exposed to for your entire life. This is the reality, but they can't pinpoint it because it's so many. And it's what we've done. It's what man has done over the past 100 years or whatever. Craziness. And so toxic burden is something that you need to know about because it's something that your body is actively working against every single day. This is why you need to support your body with a healthy immune system that comes from taking care of yourself. It comes from proper rest. It comes from proper nutrition. It comes from proper supplementation. It comes from just being aware of everything that you're putting in and on your body, that your body is fighting against. This is toxic burden. And so learning to be aware of it is number one. And then learning to begin to be proactive in reducing it is number two. That's what I want to be going through and leading you and teaching you throughout this series for whatever God leads us in this. You're along with me for the ride. I don't have all the answers yet, but God is going to lead us every single time in what we are talking about and tackling so that you can be a knowledgeable consumer, that you can learn to read labels, that you can learn to decipher toxins so that you can make more educated choices for you and your family to reduce toxic burden, to reduce inflammation in your body, inflammation in your brain. Alzheimer's, mental diseases are happening with inflammation. Where does the inflammation come from? It comes from a lifetime of being exposed to toxic burden and having toxic lifestyles and toxic eating and food that is creating a battle inside of our body that it's trying its hardest to combat, but we're setting ourselves up for failure. So the choices you make every day truly impact your life. They impact your longevity. They impact your ability to thrive or not. It's up to you. Ultimately, it's up to you. So I want you to be educated. I want you to learn and grow. And I want you to fall in love with nature and with what God has done when we remove all the toxic crap. And we can be educated consumers about that and choose where we are spending our dollars and what we're bringing into our home, both in our food, in our diet, in what we drink, in what we breathe in what